Started streaming. What's up, everyone? I have a blank screen on here. I'm not sure if people can see me. Can you see me, Tom?
I don't see the stream yet.
You don't see the stream yet? It says it's on for 29 seconds. There it is. Weird. Okay. What's up, everyone? I was talking, unless there's an incredibly long delay on here. All right. No, I guess it's all right. So, I was just practicing when you all came on here. So I was just doing the circle of fifths right there. And Tom earlier was like, what is that? I said, this is circle of fifths. Or the circle of fourths. It's like if you start on A7, D7, G7, C7, F7, B flat 7, E flat 7, A flat, D flat, F sharp, B, E, A, D, do. And I'm outlining the chords there. This is actually in my Beato book, which is part of my Platinum bundle, which is has my Beato book interactive. Oh man, this is the bundle to get if you haven't gotten any of my courses yet, or if you want to get all of them. My Platinum bundle has dozens of video lectures, including one on the circle of fifths. There's a whole little section on that, on how those resolutions work. Like if you're playing, it sounds like Bach kind of, right? So if I have A7, then it resolves a third of D7. Now, I used to be able to do that for about 2 hours at a time without making a mistake when I was in college. I would practice that because it would teach me where all the 5/1 cadences are and how to improvise on them so that you know where all the correct notes to resolve to. So the bundle here is the ear training bundle that has 80 video lessons, hundreds of interactive training modules, 27-page booklet, my Beato Beginner Guitar course, obvious you know that is, Quick Lessons Pro, and the Arpeggio Masterclass. This is like $586 collection for $119. That's $586 off. This is really, you want to learn how to do all this stuff, because I'm going to talk about stuff that's in all the different courses, recognizing how these things, if I play this, if I'm playing A7 chord to D7, right? That's your D7 chord there, or D major chord, right? I did. Now we're on G7. That's a flat 7 to the third of C7. This is really like when you hear these Bach cadences and stuff, you can actually hear the chord progressions on as I'm playing them without even I don't need any backing chords behind there. If you really are making the changes, you'll be able to hear this stuff. And like my ear training course will teach you how to actually hear all these different things. Now, I was thinking about this. I was talking to my son, Dylan. I said, Dylan, what are the 3 most difficult things? He's been playing guitar for about a year or so. And I said, what are the 3 most difficult things to learn when you're first starting? And it was interesting because I've been playing for so long, I didn't think of this. He said, alternate picking, hammer-on, or alternate picking, bends, and what was the other one, Tom? Alternate picking, bends,
Pull-offs.
and pull-offs. alternate picking bends and pull-offs. And I was like, wow. And I thought about this. Pull-offs are actually way harder than hammer-ons. And if you're like, what are pull-offs? Pull-offs are when you play a note. Say I take a G major scale here. I alternate picked it there, right? So I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so the pull-offs would be like... So I go pick, pull off. Those have hammer-ons in them. But what I find to get the speed going, I like to do pick, pull off, pick, pull off. And when I have two notes in a string, I just do a pull off. I learned this right when I first started playing. Since I played the bass first, it's to get these to get that fluidity on the guitar. I always thought like I was a huge fan of Al Di Meola and
Steve Morse.
Steve Morse. Thank Mike or Tom. That's right, Steve Morse. When I think of alternate picking, so Steve Morse, Al Di Meola, people that could really alternate pick well. But to me, I was also a fan of guys like Larry Carlton and Pat Metheny and Joe Pass and Wes Montgomery. And they use pull-offs and slides a lot. Okay, so to me, the thing that I wanted to combine that. I liked Alan Holdsworth too. So I wanted to figure out how to combine those different things. But the pull-offs are actually trickier than the hammer-ons. Hammer-ons would be, that's a hammer. So you pick and hammer your finger down without repicking. So when I do a pull-off, I really pull down on the string and I pluck it. Now you'll notice when I'm doing those arpeggios, I'm alternate picking those arpeggios. And I did that because Steve Morris, I watched Steve Morris play that stuff. I said, I saw all these guys play back in the day. And now it's weird that they come in here and play and then I can see them from 2 feet away. That's actually the fun part. But, the pull-off thing, I started with, I found these in my first guitar lesson, I learned the things that I call the 5 positions of the major scale. And my guitar teacher, Tom Rizzo at the time that showed me these, we did it in G major. And he didn't say anything. He kind of talked about alternate picking, but I saw him play this particular way where it's like hammer. So if I take a G major scale here, you'll notice I alternate picked that, but how I probably would play it. To me, it was easier to get speed, and it just sounds more fluid that way. So when I have 2 notes on a string, I go a hammer on, pick, hammer, pick, hammer. That has the hammer because there's 2 notes. And then so after that I learned up here. Then I learned those 5 positions of the major scale. This is all in my Beato book, interactive here, where I talk about this stuff. But the pull-off part of it is the thing that I didn't really think of until Dylan mentioned it. That this is actually more difficult. The descending is far more difficult. So if I'm Hammer-ons are much easier, right? So I'm not even picking that note. These hammers. And I used to see Pat Metheny do that stuff. I'm not picking the note on the A string. I saw him do that stuff live. And I was like, how is he doing that? And then I never heard these term hammer on from nowhere. And it was... So I'm not picking this note. I'm just hammering it out with this hand. So, but what you need to do is you need to really have some finger strength to do that, or have light strings. So on this guitar, I think I have 9s. And I see Pat do that. And I thought, wow, it's amazing. He can play it so quickly. I love that, though. Here we go. So, these hammer-ons from nowhere, same kind of thing. You really need some hand strength, just like you do when you're doing that. You got to really pull down and pluck the string with your hand. It's a totally different motion, and it takes a while to really get that. Now, the bending thing. Let's talk a little bit about bending. Okay, so bending, you have to actually use your ear. This is where the ear training thing comes in, and this is actually a great ear training exercise. Although my ear training course, that's part of my platinum bundle, that's on sale for $119. Quick plug, because Aaron probably was like texting me here. So you got 5 courses for the price of 1 here. So you really need to hear the intervals. And the first thing we start with are intervals. What are intervals? Intervals is just the distance from one note to the next. So let's say we take a scale. I'm going to take G major up here so you can see easily. So that's just a G major scale. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So if I am practicing bending, I'm going to go. So I'm going to play the note G, and then bend that F sharp up to the G, okay? And you got to really try and match that pitch. And then I'm going to go, I'm sorry. Then I'm going to go F sharp. Now I use my middle finger on that because if I try to use my index finger, because I haven't played in about 10 weeks or so, my calluses are really bad here. You can even do that. So I go. Then I go to my pinky. Then I go E. And I bend the E up there, and then. So I'm basically using, I'm looking at the shape here, D, and bending up, and then I got C, and I bend that B up to the C there, and then I go A, and I bend the G up to the A. Anytime I have a half step bend, I'll bend with the index finger. As my fingers get stronger, my calluses get tougher again. When, probably a couple weeks from now, I'll be able to do the bends, the whole step bends with my index finger too. But don't get tendonitis doing that. So. You want to go upward, right? I can't help but vibrato, sorry. Went a little bit sharp there. So you want to hear the intervals there, right? So if you're not playing it, if you want to just bend from the F sharp to G, you got to really have a good sense by developing your ear at where that half step is. Okay, because it's difficult to hear where these tones are, right? So you have to kind of pre-hear. I just have kind of an innate, at this point, you kind of have, you know where it feels in your hand, but you also have to constantly use your ear. When you're doing a half step bend, it's always a little lower than you think it is, okay? So that's a thing to really practice. The other thing is to, what you want to do is you want to bend it. Sometimes you do fast bends, sometimes you do slow bends, but you got to know where to stop. And a lot of times I'll bend up and then I'll do vibrato. Just because it gives it a, I think it has a more vocal quality. Okay, so we did pull-offs, we talked about bends, let's talk about alternate picking. Okay, so alternate picking, if you're playing a scale, I'll do, let's say, this G major scale here. Now, I don't think about that being difficult, but it is difficult. Alternate picking is difficult. If I'm doing string crossings, if I'm playing arpeggios, sometimes I do alternate picking. Or when I'm doing a string crossing, so I'm going like G over B. You can see I'm alternate picking, right? It's like I'm strumming. So I'm going over a chord progression right there. Okay, I did this G major over B, C major, C sharp diminished, D major, D sharp diminished, E minor, F sharp diminished. And then I did G spread triads all up the neck there. Those are good ways to do alternate picking in addition to just practicing your scales like that, okay? But I found that one of the most difficult things to do is to just double notes, okay? And Pat Metheny used to do this a lot of times, or does this really well. And I found that it's very, very, very easy to do, or it's not very easy to do this. When I say double notes, I go... That's actually very, very hard to do, to practice that, doing that. You got to really be relaxed with your right hand. I had Dweezil Zappa. For those of you that were not on the live stream last week, I had Dweezil Zappa in last weekend. I think, was it Saturday, Tom? Last Saturday. Dweezil's got an amazing right hand, super relaxed, and he basically did an Eddie Van Halen guitar lesson for the entire time. Hour and a half of Eddie Van Halen. And along with talking about how Eddie would go to the middle finger for tremolo picking. And I always found that tremolo picking was way easier if you move the pick to the middle finger. Okay, so normally I play like that, but if I do tremolo picking, I do that because I saw Eddie Van Halen do that. And when you move it to the middle finger, it changes the center of gravity on your hand, in your hand. Okay, if you think about it, right? So you're like this. You've got these three fingers hanging out down here, right? Center of gravity is kind of weird, but once I switch it to the middle, it is just. Now my guitar is set kind of weird because normally I'd be playing like this, right? I'm doing it like this so you guys can see what I'm doing. So my picking is not quite in the same spot it would be, but I always found that it was easier to play a tremolo picking with the pick, gripping the pick with the middle finger, right? And a lot of the guys, it's interesting to see Al Di Meola. I mean, these guys have insane right hands, how relaxed they are. David just said leverage. It is actually leverage. Okay. So these three things, pull-offs, bends, and alternate picking are really difficult at first, I think, to do. Now, in my Beato book interactive, the things that I start taking you through at the beginning, because I talk, since it's a theory book, okay, there's theory that really anyone can use. It starts off talking about intervals, the same as my ear training course, okay, and intervals, the distance from one note to the next, and being able to recognize those. Why is that important? Because it's important these are the building blocks of music. Intervals will tell you how scales are built, because scales are built with a certain order of intervals. Like a major scale is a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, so if I know that, I can go whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So I know if I'm on one string, I know what the order of notes is because I know what the pattern is. So when you check out my Beato Platinum bundle, which you should get because it's $119 and it's $586 off, you should open up another tab and go there and click on it and buy it, because you'll have all of these things that we're talking about today. And you can move from one to the next, and you'll be working on this for the next 5 years or so. After you learn how scales are put together, then you can go and learn how chords are built, right? The theory of them. Then you learn to recognize them by ear with the ear training course. And then you go to my arpeggio course and you can learn actually how to play them, right? So like if I take a triad, C major. So I got C major chord. These are the notes: C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, G. And there are. Since I know where all these notes are, it's because I practice them. So I literally have a map in my brain already of where all those notes are. G, C, E, G, C, E, G, C, E, C, G, E, C, G, E, C, G. Now, right there is my brain. I just know where those notes are, okay? Because I've played these things a million times. And the way that I have it organized in my arpeggio course is I have them in showing you how to connect the things, and how to use them in chord progressions, right? Because it really doesn't help you. It's one thing to it's one thing to know how to do them in individual, positions. You learn that, then you learn them in the next position, then you connect them. And then it's like, how do you actually use them for improvising? If I have an A minor chord, I can do a C major arpeggio over A minor, and it gives me like an A minor 7. Or I can use a G sus 4 and gives you an A minor 11. Beautiful sound. I love that sound. No one taught those arpeggios when I was growing up. Those arpeggios are the hardest ones to play. And if you watch me play that, hard. Now, once I've been playing here for a couple more weeks, I'll be able to do those. That's very hard to play, but I'm doing. Beautiful sound. Love that. One of the hardest arpeggios to play, the suspended 4 arpeggio like that. But it sounds amazing, okay? So somebody says, what if a chord has more than 3 notes? Okay, so then you have other types of arpeggios that I teach. And these are, like I said, they're in my Beato book interactive. I talk about them. I talk about how to hear them in my Beato ear training. And then the arpeggio course. Let's say I take an F add 9 chord, okay? That would be like this. That's F add 9. So F G A F G F G A F G A C F G A C F. That would be a 4-note arpeggio or an add 9 arpeggio. Really hard to do, or sus 4. That'd be a C add 4 arpeggio. I love it. That's beautiful sound. That could be used over the. Love that sound. Now that would be a C add 4. With a couple extra notes in there, right? So there, and then you have 4-note arpeggios like major 7th chords. C major 7, so C, E, G, B, C, E, G, B, C, E, G, B. All these things are in my arpeggio course and how to play them. Where the fingerings are, how to move from position to position, how to connect them, all that stuff. And then how these things actually work in chord progressions. How you take these things and use them for improvising and writing. And then I have, like I said, I've got all the spread triads and So that'd be, I did a two, the A minor, D major, G major, then E7. So I went up A minor, next inversion, back to the root, D7. You notice every time that I'm doing this, I'm using a different one. I'm using a different set of fingerings here. So I went up A minor here. Then I came down D. Then up G down here. But I could have gone up D. Because I know where all these things are. And if you want to learn all of this stuff, how to hear it, what the theory is, and how to play it, you should check out my Beato Platinum Bundle that I'm offering for the first time on here. They are my 5 courses for $119. It's on sale until for what, 8 more days or so? It says 8 days, 6 hours, and 59 minutes. $119, $586 off. Most people sell their courses, I'm just saying, for like $150 for one. I'm selling you 5 for $119. So there it is. So that's it for today. You guys are amazing. I hope you have a great weekend and get a chance to get outside and you're not getting hit with the rain from the hurricane. I'm going to go outside here in a second. It's great to see everyone. Check out my video from yesterday. And if you haven't seen my video with Ella Honan Ford that I did, my new Artist Spotlight series, you should definitely check that out. She has some incredible songs in there. You guys are amazing. Have a great weekend. We'll see you.